Welcome to the Audio Archives, the inaugural episode of the Audio Archives. We're going to try to have conversations here that focus on ingenuity and inspiration. And this first episode is with Jen Murray, the founder and president of CannLabs. Great conversation about how things got going in the industry and how she got going in the industry. It's a good talk. Enjoy the show. All right. No, we do. We have Jen Murray, CEO, CannLabs, in the office, right? In
Not
the studio.
CEO, founder and president.
Founder and president. Why do I keep calling you the CEO?
Because I should be the CEO, Seth.
I mean, were you the CEO?
So, yes, I was, well, out of 5, yeah.
Okay.
I was CEO. My partner was COO.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
And then now you are founder president.
So now I'm founder president.
You were always founder. Now you're president.
I was always founder. I was demoted to president. Yes.
It's fair enough.
Just kidding.
No, fair enough. And right, you're totally slacking off now, right?
Yeah, I just sit around and eat bonbons.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Feet up.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Gluten-free bonbons.
Oh, right. We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
We can get into that maybe a little bit later. If I were asked to describe you, I would describe you as a scientist with a dynamic personality.
Really?
Yeah. How would you
That's
describe
nice.
yourself?
Well, I have a nickname. It's called Tornado.
So that's dynamic. There's the dynamic personality.
That's right.
What could bring us through?
Passionate.
Yeah, passionate, definitely.
Yeah.
Tornado. Why do you think?
Because I'm a doer, and sometimes I should just not do and think about things before doing. So
Got it.
I'm very action oriented.
Right.
Yes.
So you're going to get it done. There's no question about that.
That's right.
And you're going to do it probably as quickly as you possibly can.
Yes.
Within the realm of possibility.
Yes.
And then other people maybe don't go that fast.
Well, that, and sometimes that can backfire, right?
Yeah.
So I'll be talking to, let's say, my CFO.
Yeah.
He turns around. Next thing you know, I'm gone, and he's like, "What?" And he had more to tell me about the situation,
Sure.
but I'm already trying to fix it. So
You're
I'm
already
learning.
Yeah, you're already
Yeah.
doing what
I'm
we were
already
just
doing.
talking about.
That's right. That's right. Already. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely know my shortcomings, and patience isn't one of them.
Right.
But yeah, I'm a doer.
I would say we're like-minded that way.
Very much so. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not. There are millions, by the way, millions of scientist, president, female executives out there, right? You know, everybody.
Oh yeah, we have a club.
Yeah, everybody's got a friend that's a woman that's a scientist and a president of a company.
Unfortunately, that isn't the case, but
Right.
I do have my lab director is a woman.
Right.
She's fantastic, and a lot of my scientists are women.
Right.
So, yeah, which when I went to school and studied microbiology, there wasn't very many women, and predominantly it was Indians. And per capita, we had more Indians that went to CSU.
So this is Colorado State.
CSU, baby.
All right.
Rams. Woo!
And you're from Colorado.
I'm 5th generation native.
So did you know that you were going to go to school in Colorado when you were growing up in Colorado? Like, how did that all work?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I mean, first of all, I was going to be a rock star.
Sure.
I actually have home video that my grandma videotaped with her camera that was like, this big,
Sure.
little granny.
Right. And you're making...
and I'm singing.
I'm just it's 2.5 feet that you're basically making with your
Oh,
hands. That's
well,
the size of the camera.
the first video
Right, yeah.
camera, right?
Mhm.
Granny
Yeah.
had to have a tripod,
Right.
right? 'Cause she couldn't hold it.
Right.
And I was singing, Leather and Lace, Stevie Nicks. She was my idol with the fan blowing. I can show you sometime. It's fantastic. So I thought I was going to be a rock star. But unfortunately, I can't sing and certainly can't read music, or I'm not artsy at all. So, but I loved, I was a very good student, and I was more inclined with science and math. And when I went to college, you don't know. I mean, they really don't prepare you to even dive into what your skills are, right?
Right.
Then you get to college and you're like, okay, I guess I'll go into business. Oh, well, that sucks. So let's see. Oh, I want to be the next Tom Brokaw. I'll be perfect in communications.
Right.
Yeah, that sucks.
No.
So I took a microbiology class because I always loved science, and I fell in love with it. And so I was on my way for forensics, and
Right.
this was before CSI.
Right.
And I wanted to be a forensic pathologist. Then I found out I had to go to med school to do that, and didn't want to go to med school.
Yeah.
So I graduated with microbiology, and then Waited tables.
Of course. Everybody with a microbiology degree has to start there.
Right. So, waited tables. I snowboarded, traveled, and then basically I got a temporary job at a telecom company.
Right.
And realized I was very good in sales. So my career's been in sales.
All right. Well, let me stop you there.
Yeah.
And then let's go back a little bit, because what you said was that you were a good student, and then you got your degree, and then you became a waitress. Mm-hmm. And I just want to kind of unpack that a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I was hoping to skip over that, but let's dig in.
All right. So it's not that you're not smart. It's not that you're not driven at that point in your life, mm-hmm. right? You're 20, 21, whatever, 22.
22.
Right.
It was a 5-year plan.
Got it.
It would have been 7 if I knew what I knew today.
Sure.
I would have milked it to 7.
Absolutely. I would have been in college for 10 years.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah, Mom was done with 5. She's like, okay, we're
done. Yeah. But so, why did we not jump in? If microbiology was calling you, why did it not really call you?
Because if anyone knows me, there's no way you could see me in a lab all day.
Sure.
I have to have interaction. I'm very outgoing. I love to talk to people.
Right.
And I'm just naturally a salesperson.
Right.
I never knew that, but I was told that over and over again. So finally I'm like, okay, I probably should look into that.
Yeah.
So I started at ICG, which was a telecom company that was growing so fast in Colorado.
Right.
And got on at sales support. Mm-hmm. So that was great. Mm-hmm. But I'd finish all my work before like 10, and I was so bored, and I would pester people. So now looking back, I thought I was a great employee when in fact I was a, PIA. So pain in the ass. So, so I was trying to figure out how to get to an account manager,
right.
And there was no in between. So I was trying to develop a junior account manager or something to where I could jump up to become in sales.
Right.
But in the meantime, I networked so good that I became an engineering project manager. Right. This guy knew how hard I worked and knew I could learn. And so I was training to do that when telecom took a big crash in the late 90s.
Aha, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew it was coming down. I got recruited out of that to open up a satellite office for a engineering services company where I would find engineers.
Sure.
Well, then that took
Right.
So then that hit the fan, and I was making great money, and then I had to basically start over. $80,000 to $12 an hour.
Sure.
And I started working at EAS, the sports supplement company.
Uh-huh.
And you can't get into a high level at EAS. You have to start, if you're in sales, you have to start at the bottom, which is answering phones, direct market.
Sure.
Well, I blew through that. I was great. So I ended up doing about 4 sales jobs for EAS, and then they started to this was when I first started, Bill Phillips was selling to a venture capital company.
Okay.
So as you can imagine, it all kind of went. I mean, EAS had the most amazing products. Bill Phillips was amazing. He had passion. When he left, the passion left, and they went to Walmart, and then everything was over. Right. So
that's the importance of a driven executive that has vision at the top.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. And I've never thought about that way, but yeah, when he left, it was really just kind of a shell of a company, and now Abbott Labs bought them. But so I got laid off in 2004 in February, and I had just been speaking with my father that I hadn't talked to, hadn't grew up with.
Oh.
And he was in Arizona, and him and my stepmom were like, why not move out to Arizona?
Come on out.
Start over.
Here
and I'm
go.
like, why not?
Yeah.
So I moved out to Arizona in 2004. My stepmother was into a whole bunch of things, but she's like, why don't you get your real estate license? We'll look at investment properties. Because, this is when it really started to hit, but we didn't know that then.
Got it. Right. Yeah.
Well, she ended up knowing a lady that worked for a builder. So I actually lucked out.
Right.
I got right on with a builder.
Right.
And then I was selling 20 homes a day.
No. That can't be right. Your metrics must be off. You said 20 homes a day.
20 homes a day.
Seriously though, how is that possible? How is the math
So
possible?
people were waiting in line. I'm like, I'm from Colorado. You wait out for concert tickets, right? You don't wait for homes.
No.
It was unlike anything I've ever seen. So I went to first of all, I went to an old neighborhood and just got beat up because people were upset and, everybody knows how to build a home.
Right.
So just like everybody grows the best marijuana.
Sure.
So anyway.
We'll get into that in a bit. Right.
So anyway, I moved to a new neighborhood, right? You're in a trailer, and literally every morning we would have lines of people buying.
Amazing.
Then it crashed.
I'm going to stop you there before the crash, or it just crashed. Oh,
it crashed.
All right, we'll come back to that in a moment, though.
All right.
I couldn't help but hear you say that you didn't grow up with your dad.
Right.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, so my parents got divorced when I was 6.
6 years old.
I was already living with my grandma.
At 6, you were already living with your grandma.
Yeah, about, I was staying with her a lot, and then it just, my parents weren't getting along, and so it just made more sense to put me with my grandma, and my grandma took great interest into getting me interested in other things, like roller skating.
Sure.
So,
other things as a 6-year-old as opposed to what?
Getting involved with, the divorce and all of that. She kept me busy. She'd do homework. My dad was gone. My mom was depressed. It wasn't a good environment, like most kids.
And is she your mother's mother or your father's?
My mother's mother.
Okay, great.
So, and I had lived with her. So I moved in with her, and she got me interested in roller skating. So I actually went to nationals for speed roller skating.
What?
And I have the pictures to prove it.
How old were you?
Yeah, I was 6 years old. 9 years old.
9 years old?
Yeah.
Is that when she bought the 2.5-foot video camera? Or
pretty close, yes.
Okay.
And unfortunately, my grandpa taped over my skating events with Bronco games.
Oh,
so
sure.
That was very bad too.
Yeah,
so
but
we don't have any.
But
of
it was
those.
John Elway though. So.
It was John. No, what was it? John Elway? 1979.
Definitely not John Elway.
Yeah, no.
Before John Elway.
Yeah, before John Elway.
Okay.
But, yeah, so Grandpa didn't care about skating. He was ready for football. No, I'm just kidding. He didn't know.
It wasn't right, exactly.
But he probably didn't even know how to work it.
That's
right. But yeah, so Granny got me interested in a lot of things. She did homework with me. And then when my mom divorced my dad, moved out. And when she got on her feet, I went to live with my mom.
Got it.
But again,
I'm going to interrupt again. So I tend to interrupt. I tend to swear, as you well know.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible. But as far as your mother and her depression, how much can we talk about this? And how did she get up on her feet, really, is what I'm getting at. It
was kind of a case of they just weren't a match. I mean, especially now when I look back, literally. I mean, he is me and she is totally different. I mean, she's a hermit. She's smart. She reads a lot. She doesn't like to be in public. My dad, social, dinners, sales guy, and I remember growing up thinking, Mom, I asked her one time, I'm like, am I adopted? Because you and I look nothing alike, and we have such different personality. And she was like, Jennifer, you are your dad.
Got it.
And so...
Did she not answer that question, by the way, or...
Answer
the question of if
no,
I
wasn't adopted.
Right. Because the intelligence must come from her. You said she's a smart woman. Right.
And Dad is smart in a people way, right?
Yeah.
Not in a
science way.
Let's say book way, right?
Yeah.
And my mom's not a scientist. She's more English, which is different. And I was science math, but yes, my mom is very, very smart.
Right.
But she doesn't give herself enough credit, as most women don't.
Right.
So, but yeah, when I hadn't seen my dad in 7 years, and
let's just get to the dad.
Sorry.
Because you moved back in with your mom. Did you say that?
Uh-huh.
And
yep.
at age nine-ish?
Mom moved back in with Grandma.
Got it. That's how that happened.
So poor my mom.
Right.
Me, Grandma, and Mom.
Got it.
Imagine that. So, my poor mom. So then she saved up enough money and we got our apartment.
We did. Okay. And how old were you at that point?
So I was in 5th grade.
Okay. So I think it's 5 + 5 is 10-ish.
10-ish. Yep.
Right. Okay.
So, we got an apartment and Grandma helped. And then actually Grandma helped us get a my mom buy her first townhome, and I was in 7th grade.
Good. And then now is at that point, is your mom good and she's kind of
Absolutely
back up on her feet?
She got an amazing job.
Great.
Like, she was very, very smart, so she was very career oriented. But when my parents got a divorce, she worked for an attorney. So probably not the best for my dad. No. And there's two sides to every story.
Sure.
But yeah, mom did an amazing job, and in fact, I feel like she should have lived more for herself than me, right? That's what happens when you have kids. It's like, and that's why I don't have any.
And that's what brings us here today.
Right. So,
well, no, in all seriousness, though, you could not have built the business that you have built, potentially because I know you, and I know that we talked about it earlier. You're 100% all the time.
Go.
So how are you going to do two things 100%?
Right.
You can't.
Oh, there's no way. Yeah, I just wasn't. I knew I wasn't. I mean, I'd never wanted kids. I mean, I came from a divorced family. I was the only grandchild till 15.
Oh boy.
So I wasn't around kids. It was myself and adults at all times.
Right.
So I'm very weird with kids. Like, they just don't feel right. I don't want to pick them up. No, that's not true.
They might fall.
Right. That's not true. I have great friends with kids that I adore, but I don't have to take them home with me.
Right. And I have my niece and nephew who I adore.
Right.
And it's a little bit of the same thing there.
Right.
All right. So now you move to, let's just skip kind of junior high and high school. Maybe we'll come back to it. Maybe we won't.
That's fine.
But any sports? No, right?
Yes. I was very athletic. So after roller skating, my mom got me into
the roller skating.
Softball, soccer, basketball, volleyball.
Whoa.
And I was very good at all of them.
Softball position?
Shortstop and pitcher.
Right. So
until I got a line drive in my head.
Ouch.
And then I quit pitching.
Yeah. So fast, you're fast.
It was slow pitch.
No. I mean, because of shortstop and because of the...
yes, I'm fast.
The roller skating. Yeah. Okay. And then basketball, 2-guard is what I'm guessing.
Yep. Right. Basketball, guard, volleyball. I wasn't I was on A team for some reason, maybe because I hustled, but I couldn't set. Like,
but you could.
My fingers just didn't.
You could do the bumping.
The bumping.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And the punching. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
And then soccer, I was very good at. I was center halfback.
Right.
And then, but this was all outside of school and elementary school. This was league stuff.
Got it. You didn't continue that in high
then
school?
Then we went to middle school.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I played there, but then high school, I was too interested in boys.
Right.
Now, I did play softball outside of high school.
Mm-hmm.
Our softball team was called The Crew with the 2 dots over the U because Motley Crue was my favorite.
Oh, sure.
Band.
Yes, absolutely.
And I had the perfect feathered back hair.
Excellent.
Blue eyeshadow before the game. Okay. Watch out. Hairspray so it wouldn't move while I was running. And so, so I was very, very athletic. And then nothing in high school. I chased boys. And then in college, I actually did play rugby.
Oh, sure.
For about 3 months, and the girls scared me.
Well, I coached the girls rugby team.
Did you?
In college?
Really?
Yeah, for a little bit there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's scary and hard, and I was the wing.
Yeah. No,
ran.
It's an interesting. The rugby as a sport and also as a culture is fascinating.
It is, and my lab director played rugby.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
So it was pretty cool, but and then that was pretty much it.
So you're totally this athlete, but you still have this rock and roll streak with the Motley Crue stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then the Dr. Feelgood and whatever.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
What was your favorite track or what was your favorite?
It was
album?
the first 2 albums.
Okay.
Too Fast for Love and Shout at the Devil.
Sure. Yeah.
Then it kind of went.
Right. And then
but they still are one of the best bands in concert for sure.
Have you seen them recently?
I saw them. I think in Arizona, but no. The reason is Tommy Lee's drum activity.
I literally was going to say, are you a Tommy Lee guy? A Tommy Lee fan?
I was when I was younger, of course. Vince Neil, I thought was the
dream
cream
boat.
of the crop.
Okay.
Right. Right now, have you seen Vince Neil? Yeah, he needs some help.
Well,
But,
I mean, I think that there's Botox. I think that there's...
Yeah, but so then I was obsessed with Nikki Sixx, and I actually read his book, Heroin Diaries.
That's supposed to be very good.
It was very good, and he talked about a concert at McNichols Arena in Denver, told a story about it. I was at that concert, and he was just strung out big time on heroin and all this stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, you know?
Yeah.
I was this 15-year-old rocking out, and here he was just in the midst of drug addiction.
Totally in.
Yeah.
All right. So in terms of addiction, you got addicted to sales, it sounds like, right? Mm-hmm. So you're in Arizona. You're selling homes by the dozen out of a trailer.
Yeah.
And so you did well there, right?
So I did well until obviously it started to fall apart.
Oh, right. We're supposed to say it crashed already. Right.
Yeah, so it started to crash, but I didn't like it. Okay, let's face it. I love that I was selling 20 homes, and I've seen checks I've never, they were like, whoa. But at the end of the day, I don't like it. I don't like the long sales cycles, and I just didn't like it. So I went to a startup company, and in 2008.
With which company?
It was called Build Proof.
Oh, right.
And it was a secure payment system, a secure online payment system for the construction industry.
Why don't you just do that for cannabis, by the way?
Because it's federally illegal and you can't pay over the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. But good try. But anyway, so Bulletproof, this is a funny story.
Yeah.
I had two owners. I had a previous cop from LA, and I had another guy who came from financials, and he worked on what's the trade in Chicago?
Oh, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange?
Yeah, yes. So he worked there. So he's very brilliant.
Uh-huh.
Well, it started to go sideways, right? And Grayson, the smart one, was like, yeah, this is headed for a train wreck. Nah. So he left. So then I left. Well, listen to this. Yeah. I just found out Build Proof shortly tanked after that. But the other owner, he just got sentenced to 10 years in federal prison. He decided to rob banks.
Literally?
Literally. He's called the Dynamite Bandit, and he pretended to put fake bombs in banks in Arizona. Look it up.
So he's physically robbing the banks. I figured you meant digitally.
No.
He's physically robbing the banks with dynamite.
So when do you go, God, my life, I think I'm going to rob banks. And he was a cop in LA.
Wow.
It's crazy. So he just, actually my buddy just texted me yesterday. Yeah. He just got sentenced to 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, good thing that you left there then.
Yeah. So I left there, and then I wanted to move back to Colorado. Yeah. So that's what I did.
Okay. So now you go back to Colorado. It's 2008?
It's 2009.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to be without a job when I went back to Colorado. So I was looking for jobs. And just to have a job, I noticed that a health club was branching out to Colorado. So they needed somebody to start up sales there. So I'm like, perfect.
And just for the record, we're talking about a health club like exercise equipment and
yeah. Like a 24-hour, but it wasn't a 24-hour. I won't mention it because it's gone now. Okay. But so they were opening up, and they wanted me to open up the branch. And I ended up working part-time, and really I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I was 39 years old. Right. Really, I had not had a job that really interested me. I loved sales, but at the end of the day, I wasn't helping or, really doing anything for the world. So went to work, and clearly I don't want to work at a club, and I was depressed. Right. And I'm like, God, really? I'm smarter than this. Well, it allowed me to work there really part-time, and I got to enjoy Colorado again. So I did a lot of hiking and all of this stuff.
Great.
Well, then I was back visiting a friend of a friend in Arizona for the golf tournament in early 2010, and he found out I had a degree in science, and he kind of perked up.
Right.
I mean, he was married, but it was weird.
Uh-huh.
And then he started to ask me about marijuana, and quickly found out I was pro-marijuana, and he said, well, I have an idea. And I was like, well, what's that? And he said, testing marijuana. And I said, what?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, you know how Vicodin's tested, right? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, like that. And I was like, bing.
Bingo.
Light bulb went off,
Right.
and I could not stop thinking about it. Did due diligence that Monday. I was like, we're in.
Done.
Bought him out in 2011.
Wait. You skipped 2 years. How do you just skip 2 years?
No, we started in 2010. Yeah, started in 2010, right. April 19th.
Oh, April 19th of 2010.
2010,
Gotcha.
register the business.
Interesting. The day before, we should say April 20th.
Yeah, he wasn't keen to all that stuff.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
anyway,
whatever.
yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So, I'm just gonna say that clearly people think things are gonna happen faster than they do, and they didn't.
Okay. Well, let's just. Okay. So you opened your doors, or how did you get to that place? So you have come up with the idea. Okay, I'm gonna test marijuana. Mm-hmm. I've got my microbiology degree, so I'm the right person to do that. Okay.
So I thought.
Yeah.
Even though it's almost all chemistry, but that's okay.
Oh, that's a different science.
Different science.
Yeah, but I wasn't science, so I don't even know that.
Well, right.
Yeah.
But even most people don't know that, and
right.
I didn't even know that. So what I did was for months is research.
Sure.
So what kind of instruments, blah blah blah. Well, there really wasn't anyone to call to help.
You're the one to call.
So literally, and I remember calling Department of Regulatory Agencies, DORA. And the lady scared me. She's like, "You'll get arrested. You can't do that."
Was her name?
You can't do that.
Was her name Dora?
No, her name was not Dora.
All right, Dora from Dora.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. So anyway, so then I was scared again, and I'm like, "Oh my God, get over it. Like, do it or not do it."
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, good thing I was good in sales because I hit the pavement and cold called from Fort Collins to Pueblo.
So wait a second. So she said you're going to get arrested, and then you said, "Okay, but I'm really good at sales."
No. So I'm sorry, I already jumped ahead. No. So I said, "Okay," got off the phone, cried, and then I'm like, "Okay, what are you going to do?" Right? You're miserable. You're not doing anything.
Right.
Do it. So I did.
So just do it. So you did take that risk.
Yeah.
Yep. I might get arrested.
Yep.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
And that was basically what the thought was.
That was exactly it. There was no license.
Right.
So I got my red card or my medical card. So when I had product to test, I'd be covered.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
And it's small amounts you collect for testing,
yep.
and then hit the pavement.
So knock.
Literally.
First clients such as people I might know.
So this is interesting.
Yeah.
My first client was actually my chemist.
Ah.
So Heather was going to start a dispensary.
Yeah.
So she brought a sample to myself and another lab there at the time.
Right.
And when she brought it to the other lab, he found out she was a chemist and offered her a job.
Okay.
So I had never put two and two together, forgot about her altogether.
Right.
And then fast forward, and now she's my lab director.
Look at that.
Such a great story.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Who else? Mm-hmm. Let's name names, right?
So Andy Klein was my first customer from Preferred Organic Therapy.
Great.
He's still and actually he was a lead from a friend at the gym.
Okay. Look at that.
So he said, "Hey, I know this guy and he's fantastic and he still has a great dispensary." And he had previously owned bars.
Got it.
So, yep. And then some other ones were caregivers and smaller people. But then it was really the good guys, like the clinic.
Sure.
Right. They've always tested along with some other accounts, and that's why they have quality product.
That's why they are where they are now.
That's exactly right.
So what was your pitch? Now we know years later that we should test. Thanks, Jen. What was the cold pitch to begin with?
Wow.
Yeah.
Literally, I was lucky because I did understand science.
Yeah.
And I was doing the testing in the beginning.
Right.
Okay. So it was my partner and I. We got talked into a gas chromatograph that's by another manufacturer that I would never buy again.
Okay.
But
the gas chromatograph
manufacturer.
But no, that piece of equipment, obviously, of course, for those that don't know,
was testing potency, which I thought was what you needed to test potency. Okay.
But yeah.
You went there. He did his dog and pony show.
Right.
oh, you don't need to be a chemist. It's magic.
It's magic.
You just put the pot in here, and then you put it in there, and bam, there's your number. And I kept telling my partner,
Doesn't sound right.
that just doesn't add up. I mean, all the science courses I took, I just don't get it. And this is chemistry, and I was in microbiology, and this is 20 years later.
Right.
We need a chemist.
Yeah.
So it took me like a month to convince my partner to get a chemist.
So
literally,
let's because we just mentioned potency testing, let's actually spend some time here.
Yeah.
Because
Great.
I think for everyone in the industry, it's an important topic.
Sure.
I think for consumers, it's an important topic.
Very important.
There's potency of the flower, then there's potency of the infused product, which is coming from the flower anyway. Let's go ahead and spend some time on potency testing. So where does it all start, and how do you know, and just give us the basics. Yeah. If I'm a consumer and I'm going to adult use or recreational legal state for the first time, what do I need to know about potency and testing and how it gets into my hands?
Well, first of all, in Colorado, you need to know that only recreational potency is tested. Medical marijuana is not required to be tested, and there's no health and safety required. So what you could be purchasing could have contaminants in it.
If it's medical.
Or recreational. There's
So
no
it
health
still
and
could.
safety on recreational either.
Right.
There's only potency. So potency
health
has
and
to
safety.
do...
Excuse me. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
Go
so
ahead.
health and safety are pesticides, microbials, heavy metals, all of those kind of things that every product gets tested normally in food and pharmaceuticals.
So if I'm a consumer and I go into a dispensary, should I ask if it's been tested for health
Absolutely.
and safety? Right. Okay.
Absolutely.
And my dispensary owner or manager or cleric will know. Yes? Or should know.
Should know.
Right.
But a lot of them will talk around that because, listen, the bottom line is not a lot of people test for everything.
Right.
Okay. They don't.
Right.
And there's reasons for that. And I'm not totally blaming. It's just, unfortunately, there was industry before regulation.
Right.
And there's still people that think, oh, well, it's never killed anyone. Well, yeah, but we haven't done things to it like we've done now. Mm-hmm. Like when you made hash back in the day, it was pressed hash, dry sieve, water hash. Mm-hmm. Now we have butane, propane, hexane, naphtha, whatever people can get their hands on, putting cannabis in it. And when we first started testing for those products, I mean, we would have samples with 50,000 parts per million of butane. And you're talking about people that are smoking that directly.
So I don't know what you're talking about.
Sorry.
Right.
Sorry.
No, in
Right.
terms of...
I'll back up.
Just tell me what that means. That number... what is that actually? What am I actually ingesting? I don't know. I can't conceive of what you mean. Right?
Okay, so the problem is all around, there is not an acceptable limit, if you will. Okay, what we have to go by are OSHA and manufacturing facilities where there's butane. Okay,
fine.
You're sort of breathing it in, but you're not. You
Ingesting
don't have somebody that's smoking butane to tell you what's acceptable and when it's brain damage, right?
Right.
Things add up. Pesticides add up. You're not going to smoke pesticides and die.
Right.
You're going to smoke pesticides and they're going to add up in your body.
Right.
And a laboratory out of California did a paper, and 70% go into your lungs.
70%.
70% go into your lungs.
So so now I put my product through CannLabs, and then how do you make sure that doesn't happen? And then how do you educate the dispensary, and how do you educate the consumer? Give us the path.
Well, we're not authorized. So it's been a lot of... So in Colorado, since we had industry before regulation, things are backwards.
Right.
Okay. So now when we're moving forward, the states that are coming... that are developing a medical marijuana program, they already have testing in their plans, in the legislation. So Colorado, it's been a fight, and for a while there was a lot of companies lobbying against testing.
Right.
Now, of course, let's look at this, right? You didn't have a budget for testing.
Right.
You started out, there was no, and then all of a sudden they get handed this and that and packaging. So I totally understand some of it, but what I don't get now is why Colorado legislators aren't pressing for this.
Well, now, just in terms of that, you were on the task force, right? The governor's task force
For
64.
yes, for 64 in 2013.
So tell us what happened there, and then bring us to what we're talking about as far as legislators now.
So I was on a criminal law work group.
Okay.
I have no idea why I wasn't on a consumer safety.
Got it.
But I went to all the task force groups. There was 5 of them.
Okay.
So literally all that legislative session from February to May in 2013, I was at the Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
I was lobbying myself and making sure that all the legislators that had questions on testing, they called me and not somebody else that didn't understand science.
Right. So it's kind of, and I know that you don't like this, but it's kind of like thank God for Jen Murray. Like right person, right place, right time. Who's they?
You know what? It's very hard because I love the industry and I'm not here to damage the industry, but I'm here to protect the consumer.
Right.
I'm health and safety. I'm science. Everybody deserves to know what's in their cannabis.
Right.
And I challenge anyone, if I gave you choices in my hands, here's cannabis that has been tested and is clean. Mm-hmm. This cannabis hasn't been tested, Seth. Mm-hmm. Which one are you going to choose? Mm-hmm. Well, you're probably going to choose the clean, tested one.
Yeah.
Even if it's $1 or $2 more.
Definitely.
Okay.
I mean, for me, I'm.
And for most people.
Yeah.
People are short-sighted.
Right.
And we're going to start getting into product liability. Mm-hmm. And you better hope you have a lab or somebody to stand by you in court with lab results. And that's what it's going to come down to.
Right. So we've been kind of existing with the industry for the past couple of years. I personally have. Mm-hmm. And from an outsider, so I still consider myself an outsider, from an outsider's perspective, it seems like everybody's on the same page and on the right page as far as making sure that we're doing things right. So I think it's 100%. What would you say as far as our industry is concerned? It really is.
In Colorado, 52% of people think marijuana is tested.
52% think it is.
Think it is tested.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot to learn. And what's happening in Colorado right now, there has been some first responders, police and firemen. Mm-hmm. Okay, so police come in, they investigate a robbery or something. Mm-hmm. Firemen go in, they're doing inspection or whatever, and they're seeing pesticides. Mm-hmm. So that has caused some problems now, and there's products that are quarantined now.
Got it.
And I've advised all my clients that mandatory testing is coming soon. Get ahead of it.
Just do it.
And people don't.
People don't. Some people do.
Some people do. Most people don't.
Most people don't. All right. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of still learning. And as you said, it's a basic financial. I have to change my packaging on a dime.
That's exactly
definitely.
Right.
So if I don't have to test, I just don't have the money maybe to do that. Right.
That's absolutely right. But unfortunately, I was flipping through the channels the other weekend and I stumbled upon City Council TV from Denver.
Sure.
And it was marijuana. So I was paying attention. It said 85% of people are failing inspections due to about 7 things, and some of them, and they showed pictures, were over electrical,
right,
no clear exit, ingress egress, hazardous chemicals, I mean, it's ridiculous. Colorado has been legislative for 5 years. Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Just doesn't cut it anymore.
That's not 5 years.
Find out.
Yeah, exactly.
We have compliance companies. We have compliance people.
Yeah.
If you don't want to figure it out, hire a compliance person. You're dealing with hundreds, millions of dollars.
Totally.
So now some of these people that are quarantined could have paid a couple $1,000s in testing, but now they're going to pay a couple $100,000.
Well, and then, when we...
not pay, but lose.
I gotcha. And, we did that event in Barcelona that you were at. Thanks for coming. And...
loved it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And, what we realized was that there's a certain level of knowledge. There's a certain level of knowledge in Colorado. There's a certain level of knowledge in Barcelona. I'm sure there's a certain level of knowledge in Uruguay, as our friend Raquel can tell us.
Absolutely. Coming back to Colorado soon, too.
And so there's cognitive knowledge, and then there's cognitive dissonance, right?
And then there's reality.
So, do you think that do you think it's a good thing that these things are happening? Because when we were launching that Barcelona show, a third of the dispensaries or smoking clubs got closed by their government, a couple of months before we were going there. And, I got emails saying, uh-oh. And I thought to myself, no, actually, this is a good thing because that means that 2/3 didn't get shut down.
Well, and 2/3 need help. Why not to get shut down?
Exactly.
So what's very interesting about Barcelona was, first of all, that they think everybody gets handouts.
Oh, sure.
I was blown. I'm like, they're like, well, who gave you the money? I'm like,
get the money?
Me.
Yeah.
I didn't take a paycheck. I lived on ramen noodles. It's like, there's no fairy princess here giving out money. And, you kind of had to explain to them donation versus investment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So that's the difference between, the United States and other countries.
Well, that's one difference.
That's one.
Yeah.
But also, they were all about their freedom to smoke.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Freedom to use.
Yeah. It seemed to be seems to be a much more social and exercise than it does in Colorado and Washington. And I'm talking about cannabis as medicine, and I think that we need to talk about that.
Absolutely.
But
back to that, I'm sorry.
Sure.
The main point was, they're trying to drive home to their legislators or their government or whatever they call it,
right,
that we should be able to smoke pot.
Right.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Why don't you try Barcelona?
Right. Yeah, right.
Why don't you try talking to legislators about the medicine?
Right.
And they're like, well, and it's like, no, why the United States is going fast is because Sanjay Gupta publicly apologized that he was wrong about cannabis and it's a medicine. That is why things are going fast. It's not that our government's like, let's let everyone smoke pot right now.
But didn't that happened after 64? That happened way later.
It happened later, but things didn't really start picking up. And listen, when you're sitting there talking to a soccer mom that does not believe in marijuana,
right,
are you going to win the conversation trying to tell her that her smoking pot will make her life better? Or is she going to listen to you when you say, yeah, my kid right here has seizures and now they don't because they have cannabis oil?
So to talk about from a scientific point of view, you're this scientist sitting here. So, explain why it works as medicine. What is the secret?
The secret is the cannabis plant has over 500 constituents in it, and 483 of those are unique to the cannabis plant. 66 of those are identified cannabinoids, which is a THC. Mm-hmm. And that out of the 66, it looks like so far only THC is psychoactive. Mm-hmm. Now, some people go, well, I don't want my kid high. Really? Don't kids take Adderall? Mm. Yeah, right. That gets you high.
Sure.
I mean, not high like you think it is, but it's a drug.
Yeah.
Ritalin, high.
Yeah.
So, but THC is crucial, and I truly believe that it will show that you need a certain amount of THC to activate everything else. It's a symphony, it's a lock and key, and for children with seizures, you absolutely do not want to give them a high dose of THC.
Right.
So that's where testing comes in.
Right.
But I definitely believe, my opinion, that you need a certain amount of THC to get things going.
How do we move from we trust Jen and Jen's opinion to empirical evidence?
Studies, science, universities, people to start taking the chance of studying in that. Now, of course, that could go from Schedule 1 to Schedule 2.
Sure, that'll help.
If that goes to Schedule 2, then it's going to be a different. It's going to be a different arena. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. And
we talked about that in New York.
Part of us are selfish.
Right.
We've killed ourselves.
Right.
Do we want to? You know what I mean? I'm not going to lie. But
wait, you're talking about the folks that have been in the industry, that have broken your backs, that have lost money?
Because we don't know what's going to happen.
Some gotten arrested.
That's right.
Yeah.
If it goes to Schedule 2, we don't know.
Right.
But what we do know is it will be studied, and for me, that's the most important thing.
Right. Right. Good.
So.
And so our friends at universities, please listen up. Please do some testing and all of that.
Absolutely.
Since we're still on the science, your necklace, do you want to explain what that is?
So this is a THC molecule.
Right.
That I bought. Actually, it was a gift from all my lovely ladies in cannabis. It's a THC Etsy. You can go to Etsy, etsy.com. They have caffeine, they have dopamine, they have all kinds of molecule necklaces. It's very cool. But even cooler is a piece that my dad custom made for me. He's a jeweler. 2.5 carats of diamonds. It's beautiful. A leaf. And because I told him, I said, I'm very proud of this, but all the marijuana paraphernalia or pins, they're cheesy, right? They're pop culture. Right. And nothing wrong with pop culture, but I want something where I can wear on my suit lapel.
Right.
So he made me this amazing piece, and everybody wants one. So now I think we're going to come up with pieces.
There you go.
Tie clips.
Yeah. Cufflinks.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is there a scientific reason why we call the leaf a flower?
So we're trying to elevate the competition, right?
Yeah.
I try to use the word cannabis because it's the science term.
Right.
And flower sounds more scientific than bud.
Oh, yeah, no, right.
Right?
Sure,
so
but
it's
still a leaf, though, or the bud, or the flower? I see what you're saying.
It is a flower.
Right, okay.
We call it weed,
yeah,
but it's a flower.
Right.
So we've kind of elevated the conversation, just like we really don't say grower, you say farmer.
Right.
Yeah. So, we're just trying to change. And because, listen, we're not going to convince people that this is a medicine with tie-dye, Bob Marley, and Reefer Madness.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Do you think that we're making headway on that front?
Absolutely. Starting with Sanjay Gupta.
Right.
I mean, he's really what, Obama, I believe, wanted him for not chief of staff, but Surgeon General.
Oh, sure,
maybe,
yeah.
Or something.
That'll, yeah.
So, Obama respects Sanjay Gupta, and a lot of people do, regardless of whether you're Republican or Democrat.
Right.
He's a respected doctor,
right.
And when he says something, people listen. So, I just was told that Hillary Clinton said something about letting all the people out of prison with marijuana sentences or something. I did not hear it. I heard it today. Well, that to me tells me Hillary Clinton wants to end prohibition.
It certainly sounds that way.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
So not that I'd vote for her or not, but people are worried about Republicans coming in and shutting it down, and I disagree. I think Republicans see that they're capitalists. They see all the tax dollars, and they're not dumb.
Right.
And the train's left the station.
Totally.
It's not going back.
I mean, Alaska's bright red, right?
Bright red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Arizona.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on states and legalization? Where do you think things are, and what thoughts do you have?
So we're hoping, and it looks favorable for California, Nevada, and Arizona to go adult use in 2016.
Do you think I believe that Arizona and Nevada can do that? Do you believe that California can do it?
I don't know.
Right.
I mean, it's a shame that they were the first, but it's so... I just can't even understand it. It's just a really sad thing. And part of it was because the industry got greedy and they didn't want, the good is good for them, and they didn't want to change. And unfortunately, we're going to have to be regulated. And I know people love the fact it's just a plant. We should, do it. And it's like, no, it's not going to happen that way.
Right.
We need to have it regulated.
It's look at that.
Put Scott on.
Scott Van Rixel is calling in. He's our next guest in just a matter of minutes, but
perfectly
for you listening, probably a couple of days.
Alrighty.
But this has gone by way too fast. I feel like we didn't talk about a lot of different things that we should have talked about. So,
I know.
And by that I mean, would you do this again?
Oh my God, I'd love to come back.
I guess my final two questions are: one is a cannabis question and one is a life question, but they're the same words. So what has surprised you most? Cannabis. What has surprised you most? Life.
Well, definitely what has surprised me most about life is that I'm way stronger than I ever thought I would be.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks that it's bonbons and woo, we smoke all day. And
So fun.
it's so far from the truth.
Right.
We everything in marijuana costs 3 times as much, 3 times as long, and it's a very difficult business.
Right.
But it has been the most rewarding thing in my life. I can't, once you start talking to patients and people that has changed their lives, I mean, really, it's my duty to change the health in the United States and the world, and I believe this plant can do that. What surprised me about marijuana?
Yeah. Well, I think you just did. You kind of wrapped it all into one. And
Yeah.
I guess what I would say in response to what you said is that you were one of the first people in here as far as, where the regulations were, and you were called upon and you answered the
Right.
call. And, I think that we all have to thank you, Jen Murray, for doing what you've been doing. I personally thank you for the person that you are.
Thank you.
This has been a blast, and I think we did this without one single F-bomb.
Which is depressing because it is my favorite word, but my publicly traded company
Won't
me
allow
saying
for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but no, Seth, I think you're wonderful. You came in and had an idea for the cannabis industry, and it's been fantastic. And I think you've raised the level of awareness and brought professionalism to it. And, I'm also a founding member of womengrow.com, and I'm a very big advocate of, if you are doing something, you can do it in the marijuana industry.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. It's a land grab. Come grab some land.
There we go. We're going to have Jane on at one of the first episodes too. So that'll
very
be all
good.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Seth.
So that was Jen Murray. She still is Jen Murray, of course, but she is that rare combination of business leader, scientist, woman. Great person, as I hope you can tell. We're going to have conversations just like that. So please do let us know what you think, what you like, what you don't like, what you want more of, what you want less of. Either way, I guess we'll see you down the line.